A delicious Rasta pasta that's flavorful, creamy, and irresistible. And the jerk chicken and shrimp is seasoned to perfection. Let's make it together. Start by putting your boneless chicken thighs in a bowl. To season the jerk chicken, we're going to start with paprika, ground thyme, garlic powder, and onion powder. You'll pour all those seasonings on top of the chicken and start to mix everything together. You don't have to worry too much about perfectly mixing everything in because we're going to be doing a lot of mixing. Next, you'll be adding the Caribbean green seasoning. As I've said before, this is a collection of herbs and spices that you can find in a bottle at any cultural grocery store. Then you're going to go ahead and add some vegetable oil. Then you'll go ahead and add the jerk seasoning. I strongly prefer the Walker's Wood brand. I go ahead and mix everything together. I tend to use chicken thighs when I'm making Rasta pasta as opposed to chicken breasts because the thighs end up being more flavorful and moist. I line a baking pan with aluminum foil to make cleanup easy, and I go ahead and lay out all of the chicken. Unlike when I'm making chicken wings and I cook them on a rack, in this case I cook them directly on the pan because I want them to sit in their juices. I put them in an oven that's been preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, for the shrimp, we go ahead and add the Caribbean green seasoning, followed by the jerk seasoning. We keep it really simple for the shrimp because you don't want to over-season it, and it's very easy to do that when it comes to shrimp. They don't really need a lot to taste great. Once I mix everything well, I prepare to cook them on a pan just briefly. I add some vegetable oil to the pan, and then I allow it some time to heat up before I go ahead and add the shrimp. The shrimp cooks fairly quickly, which is nice. It really shouldn't take more than 2 to 3 minutes per side, depending on the shrimp's size. You can cook it additional time if you need, but be really careful because you don't want to have any overcooked shrimp. In between each batches, you can feel free to add more vegetable oil to the pan if you need. After about 45 to 50 minutes, I check on my chicken and I see that it's done. I go ahead and remove it from the oven, and then I set it aside because I'll be slicing it into pieces later. For the pasta, I go ahead and add some salt to a pot with boiling water. Then I add the pasta and I cook it according to the directions on the box. I then go ahead and lay out all the ingredients I'll be using, including some sliced scallions, the cooked shrimp, the drained pasta, some sliced onions, the chicken, as well as the red, green, and orange bell peppers that I sliced. To a heated pan, I add some vegetable oil and begin to lightly saute the vegetables. I start first with the red onions. I really only saute them briefly because I still want them to maintain a level of crunch. After about 2 to 3 minutes, I remove the onions and then I set them aside for later. Next, I add the sliced scallions to the pan. I don't actually need to add any extra vegetable oil. I go ahead and really saute them very briefly, no more for maybe 1-2 minutes, and then I remove them and set them aside as well. To the same pan, I go ahead and add some more vegetable oil before I go ahead and do the peppers. I add the sliced peppers to the pan. I basically choose to use 1 whole red pepper, 1 whole orange pepper, and about half of a green pepper, but you can use any combination you like. I add a dash of salt and then also a dash of pepper. Then I go ahead and mix them around and allow them to cook for additional time. And similarly, I really only cook these peppers for about 3 to 5 minutes because I still want them to also have some level of crunch. I previously used to keep all the vegetables in the same pan while I cooked and developed the sauce, but I don't do this anymore because it causes them to lose their texture. Trust me, just remove all the vegetables and set them aside. So to another pan, now I cleaned it out after the peppers and I add some oil and then go ahead and add some minced garlic. You're really only going to allow the minced garlic to cook just briefly because you don't want it to burn. Then you're going to go ahead and add a good amount of heavy whipping cream to this same extra large pan. Throughout this whole process, it's really important that you use a very large pan so that you'll be able to contain all the ingredients at one time. I add some paprika to the sauce and then I go ahead and mix it all together. Next, I add some black pepper, followed by some Old Bay seasoning. Then, the next thing I add is actually the Sazon packet. I go ahead and add the entire packet which is also equivalent to 1 teaspoon. I then add onion powder, followed by garlic powder. This is going to be an amazing and flavorful sauce, I promise. I go ahead and mix everything together, and you can really see that it's taking on this beautiful color. After allowing it to simmer for some time, I go ahead and reduce the heat and add jerk seasoning. The description box below is definitely going to detail exactly how much I use of everything. I try to make it really clear and specific so that it can be followed and replicated by anyone. I add some Parmesan cheese next, and I also at the same time start to turn up the heat because I know I'm close to finishing this sauce. I go ahead and add some mozzarella cheese and again stir everything together. I allow it to bubble a little bit. Just be conscious because you don't want too much of your sauce to boil off. This is the point where you can taste your sauce and see if you want to add anything. It's going to be perfect, so you're not going to want to add anything, I promise. But if you did, now would be the time. So once it started to bubble up, I turn it down again and I start to add my pasta and really bring it together and put all the ingredients back inside. So I stir around my pasta. Then I start adding back all my vegetables, first with the peppers, then with the onions. Then I go ahead and add my cooked shrimp. I actually set aside a few of them for the end just because I want to add them for presentation. I go ahead and add some scallions as well, and I also set aside just a few of those just to add at the end for presentation to give some nice color. I start to mix everything together, and you can see that everything is really coming together nicely. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add some chicken, and similarly, I also set aside some of the chicken just so I can add some more in the end for presentation. Of course, you don't have to do this. So I go ahead and add back some chicken, shrimp, scallions, all just to make it look nice and pretty, and you're done. This will be the most flavorful pasta you've ever tasted. You can find the full written recipe in the description. Thanks again for watching. Definitely check out more of our cooking videos here on YouTube.